What's up, everybody? Steve Jones Jr. here. Thank y'all for tuning in to This Is the Moment podcast. This is our first sit-down, in-person interview. And I'm excited because this is my big bro.
You didn't tell me that.
I didn't tell him
You
this.
didn't tell me that.
Ladies and gentlemen, Jamaal Whittington, what up, bro?
You didn't tell me that. You didn't tell me that. Cool. No pressure.
How you feeling?
I'm good.
Good. Come on. Listen, we're going to do this. We're going to do this. No pressure. No pressure at all. Let's get into some music real quick.
Okay.
Name one album you can listen to right now. No skips.
Anita Baker, Rhythm of Love.
Ooh.
No skips. No skips.
I'm going to be honest. Anything that she put out in that time period.
Yeah, no
skipping.
No skips.
None. No skipping at all.
If you skip it, it's just because it was a radio hit, but you still got to sit with it.
Mm-hmm.
You still got to go back.
Speaking of going back,
okay,
let's go back a little bit.
Okay.
Where you started from, musically, where did it start for you?
Wow. Of course, church.
Mm-hmm.
My family is musical. My family is very involved with church, so that was almost the expectation. But for me personally, and I share this with people, my influences were different when I was younger.
Yeah.
When I was like 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 years old, and I didn't really want to go to camp, it wasn't really an option for the summertime, I would stay home when I was old enough to. 88.9 would play jazz from 8 a.m. to. So I sat with Ella, Sarah, Thelonious Monk. And then they would go into a neo soul segment after 12 noon. So then you've got Amel LaRue, Jill Scott, Music Soul Child in his beginning, Eric Roberson.
Yeah.
Like, it just, so my days were filled with music.
Yeah.
And then my mother bought me a little piano, so that was it.
Mm-hmm.
So
it's crazy you said WAA. WAA has been like a lot of our first. And Heaven 600 too, but between those two stations, especially if you grew up saved, we wasn't doing 92. No, you bet not.
Only after a certain hour when they went to the Quiet Storm.
Yeah.
That's the only time. No.
Yes, indeed. Grew up in church, grew up around music, just lots of culture from being in the black church. When did you know for yourself that music, and not just music, the art world is where I'm supposed to be? When did it first hit you like, I'm supposed to be doing this?
Todd Tribbett and Greater Anointing, Ideas and Concepts.
Okay.
Was that like 96? Maybe?
Might be late 90s, like 99.
97, 98.
It's somewhere in there. Somewhere in there.
My grandmother randomly had the CD.
Wow.
And it became mine.
It became mine.
Yeah. But because, you have content now with the face. So I grew up at First Apostolic Church. Everybody knows First Ap was known for midnight musicals, for Easter, Christmas, whatever. And Ty was always running through there, jumping off the Leslie and carrying on back in the day. And I had tangible, music from him because he wasn't signed back then. Right. There was no distribution. There was no social media. So it was either you were on the radio or you had a CD, or you had a tape. And my grandmother had a CD, and I confiscated it.
Wow.
And singing and having the choreography in my head as a kid, I just knew in my mind I would go to Temple University, I would find them, I would find the rehearsals, and I would just sing tenor, and that would be my career. I knew that.
Wow. Let's get into gospel music today, because the era of gospel music you're talking about from top to bottom.
Okay.
Late 90s was, I think that was the time where everybody was hitting. Whether you're Richard Smallwood, Kurt Carr, you said Ty, Kirk Franklin, Donald Lawrence, Fred, Yolanda, everybody was hitting.
Yeah.
What is the difference, you think, between gospel music during that time period and where we are right now?
These things.
Yes,
These little pieces of crap.
Yeah, that's real.
Have changed the world, and they did it in half the music is so much more accessible now.
Yeah.
Which I believe has created such a demand for it that because people have so much access to it and it's always pumping and it's always available, people don't appreciate the individuality that comes out of it.
Yeah.
So it's not revered as the art form that it's supposed to be because it's almost become common. And then it's kind of soiled with people who are able to get over because of really, really good production.
Yeah.
So it's changed a lot. But it depends on where you're looking because there's still veins and avenues where people are still really, really putting out amazing content.
Yeah.
And it's getting mainstream acclaim, like people like Lettucey.
Yeah. Absolutely.
People like, oh my gosh, Jasmine Sullivan.
Yes.
Who is like
coming to her own as we speak.
She's got a chokehold right now on that #1 spot. And we've been, we were on Jasmine Sullivan back on YouTube on around midnight. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
So yeah, it's still there. You just the blessing is it is readily accessible and you can get it. So I don't think it's a bad thing.
Tell me if you agree with this. I think that yes, the technology is a blessing that we have it, but I think when it comes to music, specifically music, technology has taken out the anticipation of what's to come. I'll give you an example. So, growing up, you had the album or the tape. Came out. Then about 3 months later, the VHS concert came out.
Not the VHS.
So then it was like, okay, we watched the VHS. Like my favorite was John P. Key's Strength.
Okay.
Watched that back and forth so much that like when I got punished, it's like you're not going. You can go outside, but I'm taking this to John B. Key tape
because that's
what mattered, bro. But it like I think it's.
Wait, Paul, you said John P. Key's Strength. How old were you when that came out?
How old was I? 3, 4. 3, 4.
You just aged me so bad. You said Strength,
bro. Like I think so. Like it gave you time to process the album and then process the visual. Instead, now you see the visual, but you can't really process the album.
Well, I think that speaks to a bigger kind of dynamic shift. The ability to focus and sit long enough and ruminate. We don't have that anymore because technology has broken that barrier, which, if you were perceptive at any point during the pandemic, you realize that the pandemic actually served as respite.
Wow.
Because you had time to focus on something. Yeah. As opposed to, we're always to the next thing. Like how much attention are we really giving things? Because we're always in transit. Yeah. So
since we're talking about the pandemic, let's go back to 2020, March 16th, I believe it was.
First huge panic attack, yes.
What was happening before March, the shutdown for you? What was happening before?
Everything, actually.
Okay.
Good and bad. We'll stick with the good. That bad wasn't that bad, though. But the bad was bad. I had just finished The Wiz.
Wow, yes.
The Wiz had just finished. And calls were coming, these concerts, bro, I want you to do this. I got this artist coming in, I need you to sing background, praise and worship here. Just like the normal life before the pandemic. And the world just like went on like a hard pause. It was like, bam. And one by one, stuff started getting canceled. Yeah. Back to back to back to back. And then just everything was shut down. And I remember to what I said earlier, I made a joke about the panic attack, but I did have one. I locked myself in the bathroom for like an hour. I couldn't get it together. Because it was like, wait, you're telling me I have to stay in the home all day?
All day. Nothing.
Every day. Until you say so?
Listen, I was going to the grocery store just to get out the house.
Bruh. I bought things. I gained some weight. I bought so much, and I was saying it to my friends. I was like, yo, I don't eat like this normally. Like, I don't snack bags of chips in my house. I don't eat chips. But because there was this fear You didn't know what tomorrow was going to, this famine, and then the
Mhm.
chickens could get COVID and the dogs could get COVID. It was just, nobody knew what was going on. So, we all did what we do best, we eat.
How did the pandemic push you into this reintroduction season of your life?
Because I couldn't go back to the way it was.
Wow. Yeah.
I'm still not really ready for the pandemic to be over, and technically it's done. I couldn't go back to the way things were. I couldn't go back to how I process life. I couldn't go back to the person who just wasn't sure of anything.
Yeah.
And only stuck in spaces that satisfied momentarily, like things that we do that make sense in our comfort zone. I realized that if I was going to change my life, if I was going to stop asking for permission to be myself, I was going to have to figure out how to spend this time wisely. And not just musically. I completed a few professional certificates. I am a certified Scrum Master, which is like in the tech world the equivalent of a project manager.
Yeah.
Like I've a data analyst certificate. Like I went back to school.
You're
like
smart.
Legit. I can read a little bit too. I don't just sing. Because I do believe in keeping a job. So.
Yeah, you got you.
So I just couldn't go back, and I couldn't continue to say it was someone else's fault that I didn't.
It's your fault.
The playing field was leveled.
Yeah. No matter how many Grammys,
go home. It didn't matter. We were all in the house.
Yeah.
And we watched people rise to the occasion. We watched people. My God, they took advantage of an opportunity that was before them in the moment.
Wow.
And people started doing things that didn't make sense for tomorrow, but started doing things that made sense for their future.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, you're a little late, bro. You need to hurry up. Hurry up.
Yes, indeed. The power of patience.
Yeah.
In a world, we've talked about technology already. In a world where everything is boom, 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 we still have certain things, key things, we need in order to be successful. And I believe at the top of the list is patience. Right now in your life, how important is patience?
It's really important because there's so much going on in the world right now. There's so many things available, so many options, so many doors, so many things that we are now like exposed to, sensory overload. If you don't slow down long enough, how do you know what's real or not?
Wow.
How do you know what's for you or not?
Yeah.
It is very easy to open the door and it be the wrong door to walk through. Perfect example. Praying and asking, what's the, what can I do in this pandemic? Should I align myself here? Should I avail myself there? And every time I went without an answer, it turned into a problem.
Wow.
And then on the back end, I started praying, and God told me very, very loudly, like, very rude to me, by the way. He's a very rude Savior, but I love him. He's wonderful to y'all. Rude to me. Rude. He's rude. He was like, I didn't tell you to go in the first place.
Wow. Yeah.
And then here's the crazy part. He was like, you needed that for you. I didn't tell you needed that. You needed to make something of that for yourself because of whatever you have in you.
Absolutely.
He specifically said what it was in you that you still haven't dealt with. And that was the opportunity for you to glaze over it like it isn't there. And it's just like, no, that's not real. This is something that you're going through in you. That's nowhere near where I have you to be.
Yeah.
So when you're ready, let me know.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to kind of be patient and wait, because everything doesn't always land in the time that we want them to.
Yeah.
Things don't happen with our understanding of when and why and time, because we're not God. So if you don't wait, then Abraham, you can't really fulfill the promise. Then you will find yourself not in the will, but parallel to it.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah.
And the mistake, and we preach it in, be careful, it's taught one way.
Yeah.
And, and the sin that was around the idea of not doing the will of God, which, we understand that that's the case. But how about really at the core of that? How about saying, let me just present this perspective. How about if his not doing the will of God was the manifestation or the side effect of, which really is the biggest sin, which is fear. Not being able to believe, help my unbelief.
Yeah.
Like, you told me something and I figured I'd get the jump on it by doing something else, and thinking that I'm working in tandem when I'm really in this alternate space. It's not what I was told. It looks like it. It feels like it, but that's not it. Yeah. So then it can't be authenticated because you didn't wait long enough for the promise. Because, the Bible says that he sends his word.
Yeah.
I think the reason why his word is sent, if we be literal, is because we know this, it operates outside of the realm of time. We got to get to where it's already been spoken. Wow. Yeah. But that takes patience. But we also understand that patience performs a work internally in our character. So if patience is a thing that we struggle with, we don't deal with the ramifications of the sin and call it the sin. No, we deal with the sin of lack of belief.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm done.
No, that's it, man. Listen to this. Yeah, organ, right? Put them draw bars out. Your vision will only become clear when you look into your own heart. I know for me, one of my issues before the pandemic is I broke it. Like, once the pandemic hit, I said, all right, you gotta break this. I'm looking everywhere else except for my own seeds, my own garden, my own heart. Like, this person's doing this person doing that. When is it gonna happen for me? Because I'm doing this.
And it's this fault.
Yeah.
Yeah. For me, and I'll even tag this, being mindful of the conversations that you rehearse within yourself based off of the stuff you see.
Yeah.
Because, nowadays, deleting your account, deleting the app isn't enough because you're still rehearsing it.
Yeah, absolutely. It's still programmed.
Yeah. It's, Jonathan McReynolds really nailed it. Comparison kills. It really, really does. And we're always, because we are in a metric-driven system, everything is measured. Time is measured, likes, appearances, streams, everything that we do is measured and set to a metric. You can't help but fall into that kind of comparative analysis about yourself to the point where you abandon the truth of who you are that's already in you. So, yeah.
Let's get into some fun stuff.
Lighten it up a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
It's deep and dark.
I'm sorry. You went.
Overcast. We all have people that we look up to, that we all take from. Who is number one for you and why? Like, who is the person that I can't go without so-and-so's musically, whether it be their art. For me, it's Michael Jackson. Okay. On a bigger spectrum now that I'm we're in the instant, and Michael Jackson, every generation, he gets fans because his art, visual art, was 12 minutes long, 9 minutes long. And they compare apples and oranges, Prince, Michael Jackson, Michael Jackson, but the kid's not yelling out Purple Rain. Oh, I watched Purple Rain. Right. They're like, I've seen Beat It, I've seen Thriller. For him to take his visions into and not miss a beat, for me, Michael Jackson number one for me. Who's number one for you?
And this is one has technically nothing to do with the other, but kinda. It's so weird. I'm gonna say this, and I know it's gonna open up a whole bunch. PJ Morton,
No, yeah,
like, legit.
for real.
I watched. There was a period of time where PJ, just I don't know how I followed him through social media when it started to become a thing, but I kept up with him, and that man has a journey behind
Journey.
him. And the naysayers, and
You
it
need to
wasn't
be
cool.
doing this.
Yeah, dude, it wasn't cool really for church kids that want to be a church kid in R&B. And I always appreciated his bravery,
boldness, courage. Yeah. Takes a lot.
Yeah.
Especially when we got all the saints rebuking. God bless y'all.
Still,
you know who you are.
Still,
you know who you are, and I thank you.
And you know what? And even that has its place. Like it makes it real. It makes it more realer. Thank you.
We appreciate you. Go downstairs and make us a chicken dinner. Thank you.
With the slice of white loaf, white bread,
bro.
Come on, you can't, yo, because we eat. People would wrap the bread around the chicken
hot
leg,
sauce.
and it was a sandwich.
It was a sandwich.
Black people will make a sandwich out of anything.
Anything. Let's get into dream duos.
Okay.
2 people.
Okay.
No matter artist, genre, 2 people that you can put together to collab with you.
Me?
Yeah, 2 people.
At the same time?
Yes. You, so and so, Abraham and Isaac.
Jacob. Okay. That's a good one. I've never thought of that. I will say this. I'll frame the question this way. I would love to have these 2 people in the studio with me working. And it's gonna be very random. I would love to work with J. Drew Sheard, and I would love to do a duet with Tori Kelly.
That's a winning combination. That's a winning Tori.
Yeah.
Her tone is, she sings like that live.
Yeah.
And it's like,
now I wouldn't do much singing, but
introduce her.
Yeah. Actually, I don't even know that. Yeah, man. So yeah, but J. Drew Sheard,
his ear, even the older Kiera stuff.
I love
like,
it. Yeah. Just a couple songs.
Yeah.
And dude, no, he has like albums.
Yes.
Of his own.
Yes, sir. We Never Coming Home.
Yeah, dude.
I mean, Never Coming Back. Sorry,
dude.
JJ.
Yeah, that's okay.
Never Coming Back.
Yeah, man. I love him.
That's my dog, bro.
I love him.
In the morning, it's still in heavy rotation for me.
Okay.
Yeah, that's in heavy rotation for me.
Okay.
Let's talk about November 11th, next week. Allow me to reintroduce himself.
Mm-hmm.
He's not Hove.
Yeah, I don't want that responsibility.
He's Jamaal. Let's talk.
Yeah, yo, what's his time? That's all. Long story, very short. Reginald James, who is also playing and is the project manager for the event, hit me up. I met him at a So Far event. I did a So Far event in DC, and we were both. He was hitting for another artist, and I was singing. And he found me on social media about a little under a year later. I was like, dude, I have this amazing opportunity for you, and I want to pitch this idea to you, see if something you may be interested in. The thing that makes it so significant is here we are, kind of almost full circle. At the beginning of 2020, I just ended the Wiz, and life was going in a different direction.
Right.
So now, fast forward 2022, at the end of Rent, and I'm. Life is getting ready to take me in another direction, and I'm praying. I said, God, I need something else because I can't go back to the way it used to be. I get that call, and it kind of just started coming to me.
Yeah.
And so I'm also working with Ramon Shelton.
Yeah.
Which he's producing it, he's MDing it. Dude, we just had our first rehearsal Tuesday.
Okay. Yes, sir.
Like, I'm a little scared, actually, because I think it's going to be a little bit bigger than me. Like, I was sitting in rehearsal, like, actually, gonna have to.
Go for it.
Go for
What
it.
you was born to do.
So, but I just wanted to, I guess let's just see what happens if one day I actually did an entire whole R&B set.
It's coming.
Would people like it?
Yeah.
Would you all actually come to something else? I haven't given up church. I still do. I still lead worship when I'm asked to.
when I'm gonna leave that alone. I'm leaving that alone. As we close out, do you have anything inspiring to say to someone who is where you were during the pandemic, in a season of uncertainty? What do you tell them?
Start inside.
Wow.
Whatever it is. Just have it slow down, quiet down, learn to master
Yeah.
focus on what you're supposed to hear. From there, change entire worldview.
Yeah.
Quiet down.
Yeah. Thank y'all for tuning in to This Is the Moment podcast. Thank you, Jamaal. Y'all, listen, like, subscribe, share this. Look out, November 11th. Allow me to reintroduce myself. We are live. Live music. We ain't playing no games. Live music that night. All the extra information will be in whenever we're watching this on YouTube. You got it. Y'all got it. We out of here. Y'all, be safe. Peace out. Love y'all. Holla.